Friday, welcome back. This is the 8th episode of the Barrel Zone. Today we are going to do a market rundown for this Friday slate of NBA. We have a 10-game slate, couple of great spots. I already have a few bets in and looking at multiple games that are off the board right now. So yeah, we'll get into it in a second. If you have any comment or feedback regarding the show, please reach out on Twitter at the Barrel Zone. And if you want to tell my plays and read my written analysis on all the picks I make and all the games every morning, you can go to patreon.com/the Barrel Zone and join the Discord server. So I'm going to put up the odds screen right now. We are using Sports Insights as always. And we will get into it. First game on the docket, Detroit Pistons hosting the Phoenix Suns. Suns opening up as a 6.5 point favorite on the road. They are getting some money. Pinnacle is at a very juiced 6.5. This is probably going to 7. This is the game where I have the biggest number edge on Phoenix. I looked into it, why it might be, and I have a couple of theories why the Pistons aren't as bad as we might think they are. But I'll just throw out a few stats here. So the Suns are the fourth best team in points per possession, fourth best team in effective field goal percentage. Detroit's defense allows the third highest points per possession and the highest effective field goal percentage at 59%, which is insanely high. On the other side of the ball, the Pistons are 20th in points per possession, 28th in effective field goal percentage, while the Phoenix defense is allowing the 7th lowest points per possession and the 8th lowest effective field goal percentage. So, I mean, if you just look at this, it's a complete mismatch. So why is this only 6.5 or 7? Detroit has only one loss that has been by more than 10 points. I've looked into it. Why is the team so plucky? So what I've found, and I think there are two stats that are pretty interesting, but mainly the turnover rate. They have the fourth lowest turnover rate on the offensive side out of all teams. And defensively, they force the fourth most turnovers. So, I mean, if you just check turnover rate, they are the best team in the league on average, if you take into account what they do on both sides of the ball. I mean, yeah, and to add to this, they are top 10 in offensive rebounding. I mean, we knew that they have a couple of good rebounders, but yeah, so they take care of the ball. They make steals. They are decent at rebounding, and yeah, they just basically can keep games closer than they should. I mean, if you look at their offense, it's just sad. They are really one of the worst teams offensively. So I would be all over Phoenix here. I still like them, but they play the Pacers tomorrow. That will be a really tough game. We'll probably bet the Pacers there. Just looking at it for the first time. But I mean, so they might take their foot off the gas as they have a more important game tomorrow. And despite I'm showing the huge numbers edge here, I'm making this around Phoenix -9. This is only going to be probably a small bet for me because yeah, Detroit is a decent rebounding team, and yeah, this total is also pretty low. It's not the lowest on the board, but almost. So yeah, this would be probably like a slower paced game, and yeah, laying 6.5, 7 points. I mean, it's a huge mismatch, and you have to look at Phoenix, but I'm not in love with the play, to be honest. All right, next game, New Orleans Pelicans hosting the Charlotte Hornets. This is an interesting one. This one opened up New Orleans -8.5. I would have been all over the Hornets at that price. And at the current price, -6.5, I'm still leaning towards Charlotte. I'm always saying that I think the Pels have huge problems. I don't like how they handle the rotation. They have the 5 best players in the starting lineup. The bench is bad. They aren't efficient anywhere. And besides the strong rebounding and the good free throw rate, they aren't really good anywhere. And they basically bail their ass out by out rebounding the opponents. I would probably move Bledsoe to the bench, let him run that squad, or they would have to do some changes. I think how they approached games, because I don't think this will work against better teams. They will probably get away with it here, but if we just look at the season long numbers for both teams, they aren't that different, to be honest. Offensively, the Pelicans are the 22nd in points per possession, 26th in effective field goal percentage, 25th in turnover rate. And I mean, Charlotte isn't much worse. They are right around these numbers. And on the other side of the ball, defensively, they are also very, very similar. So, I mean, besides the huge rebounding edge that the Pelicans will have, these are basically the same team. And yeah, laying 6.5, I mean, I'm not on board with it. The Pels have JJ Redick as questionable. I mean, he has been terrible anyways this season. He's shooting 24% from the free throw range. He's averaging 10 less points as last season. So yeah. So the Hornets are around the 20th in league when it comes to rebounding on both sides of the ball, while the Pelicans are obviously the best team on both sides of the ball rebounding. So yeah, that's basically your handicap. Besides that, this is not a huge mismatch. If this gets to 7.5 back, I would probably play the Hornets, even maybe at 7 for a small play. And yeah, they have. I think the Hornets play Atlanta tomorrow. That's probably a bit. That's not a game to overlook, but I don't think they will just take their foot off the gas unless they are getting blown out early. But yeah, I make this 6, and I think there is still some value on the Hornets, and I think we could see Pelicans money. They have been closing as pretty big favorites against these lower level teams. So yeah, if more Pelicans money comes in, I think you should look at Charlotte. All right, next game, Boston Celtics, Washington Wizards. Boston. This game is off the board. We have Russell Westbrook as questionable, as always. No, but this time for real. This is the front end of a back-to-back. For the Wizards, they are hosting Miami tomorrow. I mean, so these are two extremely difficult games, but I would guess I would lean towards Westbrook sitting today and maybe playing tomorrow. There is some injury concern as well, so this is not just like a phantom injury to sit him. He's legit dealing with some problems. So yeah, I mean, this line, Celtics minus 5.5. This isn't factoring Westbrook out in at all. So if he's out, I think this gets to like Boston minus 7 or something. If you have access to like a soft book, I see that in the US, DK and FanDuel both have Boston minus 5.5 up. Bet365 also has them up right now. So yeah, I don't think Boston at the current price is terrible. They have two questionables as well, Teague and Tristan Thompson. I mean, yeah, those are like important players, but obviously not of Westbrook's caliber. So yeah, with the Wizards playing a back-to-back tomorrow, I could see the Celtics running away with this. One thing to note, the Wizards have like a fringe top 10 offense this season, and Boston's defense is grading around the 20th in the league. So they aren't grading well defensively, but if you check the level of teams they played, it's pretty impressive. So the Celtics played so far the Bucks, the Nets, the Pacers twice, the Heat, and the Raptors. I think they had also like one game or two against. Yeah, they had 2 games against Detroit. I mean, those were the only 2 easy games. So yeah, they played a tough schedule. I think the defense will get better. They will figure it out. I would lean towards the Celtics here. The Wizards defense is bottom 5 in all categories I'm tracking, while the Boston offense is pretty strong, like firmly top 10, maybe even top 5. They are the second best offensive rebounding team. That could be a huge edge in this spot and the difference maker. So yeah, I'm not showing like a giant edge if Westbrook is playing. This line is probably right, but I mean, I'm leaning towards him sitting, and yeah, this has to go to 7, maybe 7.5. And Westbrook hasn't been good. I'm always bashing him, you know. Um, he has a 34% usage rate, which is insane, but he is averaging only 92.5 points per 100 possessions, which is the bottom 16% in the whole league. And his turnover rate at 15.8% is the bottom 12% of the whole league. So he's playing bad. He's just holding on to the ball for too long, basically. So yeah, I'm not sure him being out is a huge downgrade, but obviously he's putting up tons of points. So Celtics are bust. No action. I think when Penny opens, this will be around -7, and I don't think there will be any value there. Next game, Knicks hosting the OKC Thunder. This is a game where I don't really show a numbers edge on either side, but if you look into what these teams have done, I think you have to lean towards New York. Both teams are very, very bad offensively. This is the first thing I have to say. They are both in the bottom 5 of the league. And the difference is the defense. OKC is barely a league average defense, while New York is top 5 in most stats I'm tracking. Some things to know: they are fourth lowest in points per possession allowed, and they're allowing the second lowest effective field goal percentage. And they're also limiting free throw attempts well, and they are decent at rebounding on both sides of the floor. And they have faced an extremely tough schedule, one of the toughest schedules in the whole league. Yet the Knicks have won 5 out of the last 6 games, and the wins came against Utah, Atlanta, Indiana, Cleveland, and Milwaukee. I mean, if you just take like Milwaukee, Indiana, those are 2 top teams right now. And I think Utah and Atlanta are also decent, and Cleveland is a difficult matchup with their defensive strength. So yeah, the Knicks are, I think, for real. This will probably come back to earth when the players start to fatigue. They are getting. I mean, the starters are playing like 35 to 40 minutes every night. This will come back and bite them in the ass, but they are still so much better defensively than OKC that I think you have to look at them here. Also, this is a 5-game road trip for OKC. This is game 4 of the road trip, and they have won 2 games of the first 3 so far. So they have wins over Orlando and New Orleans. I mean, I'm not saying they are already overperforming on this trip, but yeah, this could be a game they end up dropping because they are feeling good about themselves. Yeah, I'm not going to go into narrative city down here, but yeah, I would probably lean towards the Knicks here. One thing to note: they are both of these teams are around the bottom league in when it comes to pace. So there will be a low number of possessions. The total at 208 is super low. So yeah, but you don't have to lay big numbers with the Knicks. So Knicks or bust. Next game, Milwaukee bust. Yeah, the Milwaukee bust is hosting the Utah Jazz, who look like a bust so far. This opened up Milwaukee -8, and we are sitting at -6 now. I mean, at 8, I would be all over the Utah Jazz, but we aren't getting that bargain with them so far. I think the Jazz are in a slump, but they will eventually figure it out. It's a good team. I mean, the amount of talent they have is amazing. Things will start to click. They might not be like as good maybe as in the end of the last season, but I think they will be a decent little playoff team. As for Milwaukee, they got back to the top when it comes to points per possession and effective field goal percentage. They were there last season. I mean, they are the best offensive team in the league when it comes to just the regular season. We've seen that how the playoffs went last year, but I mean, they are doing that thing now. They are 4-4 ATS. I think both the books and I mean, low sample size, of course, but both the books and the bettors, I think, have a great idea what this team is and what they can do and what they cannot do. So yeah, I don't see any value here. My line is exactly 6. So yeah, I would probably lean towards the Jazz. This is the second time this season they are dogs. When they were dogs the first time, they won outright against the Clippers. Yeah, I mean, Utah Grays just average everywhere. They're top 3 in rebounding, but they are really nothing special besides that. But I think this is the low point to buy them, like not necessarily in this game, but going forward. They went 0-2 in their New York trip, losing to Brooklyn and the Knicks as well. They have like 500 seasons so far. I mean, Conley did look great in the early games, but he cooled off. Yeah, I think they will figure it out, but no edge in this game. Next game is one that probably you have to skip. It's the Houston Rockets hosting the Orlando Magic. You cannot really bet this game as Houston, since they got all the guys back, they went 0-2. They lost against to Dallas and at Indiana. I mean, this line is giving them a lot of credit, but I think it's warranted. They are, I mean, if you just look at the roster, they are a strong team. They should be able to figure this out if Harden wants to play. I mean, if he is not giving it 100%, it might not work out. But we are not jumping on Orlando and fading them, as the Magic have many injury issues. So as you know, like even Fournier has been out for a week now with some back issues. He isn't looking good for this game. I don't think he will play. The Magic just lost Markel Fultz, their starting guard for ACL tear. He will be out for the whole season. They are also without Michael Carter-Williams, who has a foot issue. So I mean, the guard position is looking really bad. I mean, Anthony, a rookie, will be the starting point guard. I mean, yeah, it's you have to see how the team responds to these injuries and how they will look. But I think they will probably eventually will have to trade for a guard. I'm not sure the rookie will be able to do this job, especially as Files has been great this year, and the team has been in top 10 of both my offensive and defensive rankings, and they have played really solid basketball all around. As for Houston, currently they sit in my bottom 5 when it comes to defense, and I rank them around league average when it comes to offense. I think the offense will get better, but the defense is I think is concerning, to say at least. I mean, Christian Wood has been hyped up. He's a great guy, great player, but he isn't a good defensive player. On the offensive side, he's decent, but yeah, I could see teams putting up many points on Houston this season. So I don't have a play. I would make this Houston minus 5.5 with yeah, that rating was with faults, so this is probably -6. This is a decent line. I would probably look at Orlando or nothing here. Skipping this game might be the smartest, as yeah, there are some new pieces in the rotation in the starting lineup. But I mean, I cannot lay points with Houston. They just yeah, this line is giving them a lot of credit, and while I understand why, I don't want to go there. All right, next game. This is probably another one that you will skip unless you want to bet the Memphis Grizzlies. The Grizzlies are 4.5-point home underdogs hosting the Brooklyn Nets. I mean, what a shit show. Brooklyn is without Dinwiddie now. KD is down with the COVID issue, and now Kyrie Irving is missing due to personal reasons. And Steve Nash said that he reached out, but he couldn't reach Kyrie. I mean, this sounds awesome. Still, the Nets won their last two games last night without Kyrie and everyone else, and yeah, basically they somehow stepped up and won a game that they had no business of winning. I think this Brooklyn minus 4.5. This is a line that doesn't factor in Kyrie not playing, or if it does, it does a bad job at it. I mean, both teams are on a back-to-back, but the Grizzlies were at home losing to the Cavs, and the Nets are traveling, so a third and fourth back-to-back, and they are without three of their four best players. It's a really tough game to handicap. I mean, my line could be anywhere between Memphis -2 and Brooklyn -2. So I think that's the range where any line is acceptable for me. But I mean, some books have Memphis plus 4.5 up. That's not an acceptable line, I think. I mean, still, the Grizzlies put up 90-ish few points through the past few games without Morant, and they looked bad. They are 0-5 at home, but I mean, this is the absolute buy low spot. It's an ugly team to back, but they have at least decent rebounding. But I think these last two games, the Nets have been extremely overperforming, and they should have gone 0-2, and they went 2-0. Yeah, I think it's a spot to fade them with the best players out in a bad spot, and I could see like the Grizzlies just stepping it up. But yeah, and I'm not going into these angles. The fact is that if you build any kinds of power rankings and if your numbers are decent, this line cannot be Memphis plus 4.5. Next game on the docket, Sacramento Kings hosting the Toronto Raptors. I thought that DeAndre Fox will be certainly out here, and I think this -5 is a Fox is not playing line. So the Raptors are 5-point road favorites against the Kings. I would make this Toronto -3 if he is playing. I mean, Fox has a huge. I mean, he has a 30-minute. He is averaging 30 minutes a game. He has a 30.5% usage rate, the highest on the team. He is worth about 2 points. So I think the line is correct if Fox is sitting, but the team is saying that this wasn't a strain. He's just experiencing tightness, and I'm not sure how they will handle it. But it seems like it seems like that it's possible that he will play. I don't want to do anything with this game, to be honest. These are two teams where, I mean, I'm waiting for the Raptors to just either trade for Harden or just to get better on their own. I mean, they are playing probably well below their capabilities. On the other side, the Kings have been kind of overperforming, in my opinion, and without Fox, I don't think you can back them. But the Kings are like around. I rank them between like the 15th and the 20th, and Toronto is just is very similar. But you have to know that the Raptors have played a really tough schedule. Their expected record is better than their actual record, while Sacramento has a worse expected record than their actual record. So yeah, I think Pinnacle will go with a -4 instead of a -5. So that would be like halfway between Fox playing and Fox not playing. That's the usual way the smart books go around these injuries, unless we know. But you can follow how the market shapes the number. And yeah, if this goes back to 5, then we will probably not see Fox tonight. But I don't think there is value in this game, and you are smarter sitting this one out and see how the Raptors evolve through the next few weeks. And yeah, I don't mind seeing the Kings for a few more games, as I really have no idea where to rank them, to be honest. I mean, yeah, it has been really a mixed bag. All right, next game, the Golden State Warriors host the Los Angeles Clippers. I mean, yeah, this is a crazy game. The lineup that we have, I mean, Pinnacle has this off the board, obviously, as Steph Curry is questionable. But if you go up and if you have an account on Bet365, you can go and bet the Clippers -4.5, and you should probably put the house on it. I mean, if the Clippers, if Curry plays, I make these Clippers -5.5 to 6. I think these 4.5 and 5 is just not enough, even if Curry plays. And if he is out, this should be like 10. I don't think the Warriors can win without Curry. So like, there is a shot that this is probably free money with the Clippers, and yeah, that's all you have to go by, basically. As I said, the Clippers have defensive issues. They rank around the 15th and 20th in most defensive stats. It's not great, but the Golden State offense is still well outside the top 20 of all offenses. So it's not like they are burning teams down or anything like that. And if you check the Clippers offense, they are second in points per possession, fifth in effective field goal percentage, and basically top 15 in all stats I'm tracking. So yeah, I wanted to sell Golden State anyways. I think the Golden State stock is at a maybe not like a season long high price point, but it's close. And quietly, I think the Clippers are a great team. It seems like Kawhi might play more back-to-backs than we think he will. So yeah, I think Clippers should be 5.5 to 6 points favorites even if Curry plays. And the reason I don't think Curry will play is he was probable for this game and he was downgraded to questionable. And when this happens, the players don't usually play. If you check back like historic stats, like if a team posts an injury report and they have a probable player and then later they downgrade him closer to game time, that always spells bad. So I think Curry will sit this one out, and if you have a LA Clippers ticket, then you will be pretty happy. Last game on the slate, LA Lakers hosting the Chicago Bulls. I have this, the line is currently off the board. Obviously, it's always off the board with the Lakers. You don't know if AD or James will play. This is the third and fourth and the back-to-back for them. They played 34 and 35 minutes last night. The Bulls are also in a third and fourth. It's a long road trip for them. They are probably going to be without the COVID guys, Markkanen, Satoransky, Hutchison, all on the COVID list. The Lakers are a top 5 defense, a top 5 offense. The Bulls are a bottom 5 defense, and they are around league average offensively, which I think is great for them. I mean, I expected way worse, and they handled the lack of Markkanen really well. By the way, the Bulls are 6-3 ATS. Lakers are 4-5. At 10, I would probably lean towards the Bulls. I would make this around 9 if we expect AD and James to play. They are coming off an ugly game, a loss against the Spurs, and I mean, you probably won't sit your two best players coming off such a game, and you don't want to overlook the Bulls, as we've seen teams overlook them and they beat them up. But I mean, if you look at season-long stats, dogs are hitting around 60%. ATS road teams are about at 50%. So road dogs ATS against a team. I don't think the Lakers are still in like mid-season form or anything like that. They will figure it out, but like Harrell is struggling mightily. I don't think they figured this one out yet. This is like still an extended preseason. They are the champs. They will be the champs this season. I mean, they shouldn't care about covering this game by 10. So yeah, I'm leaning Bulls. If this gets over 10, I will probably jump on the Bulls, but I'm not sure we will get there. So quick recap of this nice little slate. Games that I liked and sides that I liked. I like the Phoenix Suns. I think, it might be bettable for a smaller bet. I mean, theoretically, this should be a blowout, but I mean, as you know, Detroit barely gets blown out. I like the Hornets if this gets to 7.5 against the Pelicans. Celtics are a nice look if you catch something around -6. Westbrook probably won't play, if you ask my opinion. The New York Knicks are up to a -3 right now, hosting OKC. I think the Knicks play hard. The Knicks play strong, good defense, good rebounding. I like them. 3 points. My line is around this, but yeah, you would probably have to look at Knicks or nothing here. Nothing on these next few games, and then again, in the end, I like the Clippers over the Warriors. I don't think Curry will play. Even if he plays, and you get like a 5.5. Even I would probably risk a bet even at 6. That's where my number is at. And I mean, if he is in, you are flipping a coin, but I would probably lean towards him sitting this one out. So this is it for today. If you want to tell my plays, you can go to patreon.com/thebarrelzone and join the Discord channel. Otherwise, hit me up on Twitter at the Barrel Zone and like, subscribe, whatever on the podcast and the stream. And I will be back tomorrow. We have an 8-game slate. I've looked at the games already, a couple of nice ones. We will have a few bets tomorrow as well. Thank you for watching, listening, and I'll see you tomorrow.